No one can imagine. The 8-power Allied forces once again invaded the land of China. Sadly, China still has no power to fight back this time. 100,000 soldiers were slaughtered by foreign enemies in less than a month. Facing the pressure of the Alliance army, a young man once again faced the foreign enemy with a knife across his chest. But the old, weak, sick and disabled people behind you are urging you to flee. Just because you are the only young man in the city. As long as you live, there is still hope of fighting back. But the 100,000 soldiers who sacrificed their lives for the country are all watching in the sky. How could he be the first deserter? Thinking back to more than 10 years ago, the world changed and spiritual energy revived. Practitioners and gods appeared in every country. Although there are practitioners in China, but the god never appeared. This also made the wolves in the West ready to move. And after the spiritual energy is revived, the hot weapon has lost its effect. You can only become stronger through practice, so that I won't be bullied in this new world. But no matter how hard a cultivator tries, not a match for those gods. The wolves of the West saw this. So the coalition forces invaded the land of China, vowed to conquer this end of China. The lion of the gods has not yet appeared, strangled in the cradle. At this moment, you look back at a dozen miles behind you. It was a dilapidated city. It is a place abandoned by China. Because the West is surrounded by wolves, China finally had to make a decision on its own. The former sword god Pei Wuju sacrificed his life to heaven at the end of the Northern Dynasty. Leave a sword to build the Great Wall to resist the invasion. This place is filled with the blood of heroes from all walks of life. Even if China gives up the city, you don't want to take even a step back. You look at the dark enemy formations. Eyes filled with murderous intent. You're just giving meaninglessly. Stubborn resistance. As long as you surrender, I will fight for you to receive the highest treatment from the Empire. The enemy commander West suddenly calls you. When he came here a month ago, he saw countless brave people. But he has never seen you like this. Before, he thought you were the only one left in the strong army. What kind of trouble can it cause? But Weiss was wrong. Since this month, he led several raids with Imperial troops. No matter whether it was a frontal attack or a sneak attack, you were able to resist it. You look like an army to him. For the strong, he gives you enough strength to make you surrender. And you only wipe the blood from the corner of your mouth. He said coldly that I, the son of the Han family, are facing foreign enemies. Never bleeds dry. Vow not to fight. How can China's territory be allowed to be trampled upon at will? Your angry eyes. Weiss, who was astride the horse, held the reins tightly. He is angry. Weiss pulled out the sword from his waist and shouted, "Kill you." He smiled coldly and held his sword in front of him. Welcome thousands of troops alone. Returning from the era of hot weapons to the era of cold weapons. Many people will not adapt to it, but you will become more and more adaptable. These years, as a cultivator, you don't know how many foreign enemies you have killed. And every time you kill someone, your strength will gradually increase. This is also your confidence to fight the enemy bravely. You are obviously the only one at this moment, but it disturbed the thousands of troops and horses. Screams and blood intertwined. So many people can't kill one person. The general can't go on any longer. The black armored army has lost nearly half of its troops. The adjutant's reminder came from beside me. Weiss's eyes turned red. Of course he knew he couldn't continue. The black armored army is the elite of the Empire. It is very difficult to train every black armored soldier. West took a deep breath and waved his arms helplessly to withdraw. The adjutant immediately ordered. The black armored troops who were advancing one after another also stopped. Another victory. You are bathed in blood. Panting, I defended this place again. When you return to that abandoned city, the city gate slowly opens. This city is called Yuxuan. It is said that there is an ancient tomb in the city where the 9 heavens of China are buried. Empress. Many people in China once believed in this legend. But after the spiritual energy is revived, only then did they realize that the legend was just a legend. If Empress Jushin is really here, how could he not show up to save China? Thinking back on the glory of China for thousands of years. The only country in the world that has never stopped civilization. This country once had great glory. The people of this land. They are all proud of the blood flowing in their bodies. Who could have thought of all this? Now he has become the laughingstock of outsiders. The biggest joke of Shenzhou Wushan. Your hand holding the sword feels a little weak. Can't help but smile bitterly, no matter how many people you kill. How to face the gods. Your eyes are a little dazed. Looking at the old, weak, women and children in front of you seem to see the 100,000 armor-breaking troops who sacrificed their lives. They never retreated until they died. Because once Yuxuan City is lost, the people of the city and state will not be able to escape the remains of the wolves in the west. Some people say your persistence is foolish. A place that even China would give up on. Stick to it even if it means risking your life, but the fallen general told you. This is not foolish persistence. It's faith that you look at the direction of home with a lonely expression. Is China really going to give up Yuxuan City? At this moment, Yuxuan City seems to be very quiet. But buried beneath this silence is despair. At this time, slight footsteps sounded. You turn around and look. It's an old man with a broken leg on crutches. When you see the old man, immediately stand up and salute the leader. The old man waved goodbye to the leader. They've all become such useless people. He has long lost his qualifications as an armor-breaking army. How long can you sustain success? The old man sits next to you, looking at the enemy army in the distance. This is an incredible thing. Yuxuan City now relies on you alone to defend it. Millions of enemy troops have yet to break through Yuxuan City. You took a deep breath and said, "Hold on until you die." Foolish, foolish old man. A wry smile appeared. You know the old man just wants to advise you to leave. There is no young Erlang in Yuxuan City anymore. All young men are sent to the front line. The final result is either death or misery. They are not regular soldiers. But it's all to protect the land beneath our feet. China has never invaded any country. We have always believed that harmony is the most important thing, but the Western wolves don't think so. They want to encroach on China. There are enemy troops on all sides of Yuquan City. They have blocked the place with water. For those enemy troops, Yuquan City is just a turtle in an urn. But they are not in a hurry. They seem to want to torture the people who died in Zuan City. The old man has talked a lot with you here. He didn't leave until dusk. The next day you stood at the city gate. Thinking about how wise we used to capture Yuxuan City. Please open the city gate. A fat man with short hair and a kind smile. Shout to you. You frowned and said this is not the place you should be. We came with orders from General Weiss. Fatty, tell me. Waving to the person behind you. I saw an extremely gorgeous general appear. Among the generals, across the red gauze, can all be seen, there was a stunningly beautiful woman sitting inside. The beauty has long wavy brown hair. The facial features are breathtakingly beautiful. A pair of eyes is even more captivating. The clothes on her body are even more open and revealing, in order to highlight one's figure. Only some key parts are covered. You were slightly startled when you saw the beauty named Nianli. The fat man with short hair felt happy when he saw this. General Weiss respects you as a hero. As long as you are willing to surrender, you will enjoy the various beauties in the empire and these. The fat man with short hair waved again. Several boxes of gold, silver and jewelry were opened. Dazzling. There is 1,000 calculations in the corner of your mouth. I didn't expect West to set up a honey trap for you. You frowned and said, if I kneel down. Can anyone accompany me? The short-haired fat man nodded quickly. Anyone can serve you. What about your gods and angels? Is that okay too? What you said. The short-haired fat man and several of his followers were stunned. I want to try letting an angel kneel in front of me. Can I? You asked again before he could speak. I can't give it to a fat man all of a sudden. He, Abba, couldn't hold back a single word for a long time. If it doesn't work, forget it. I'm not interested in ordinary beauties. You've finished saying this. The beauty in her teaching years has slightly darkened eyes. Suddenly a murderous intention came. Then a figure flashed in front of you with a whooshing sound. Willia. He stared at you and said, "Do you think I'm ordinary?" "It's normal," you nod. Verlia smiled slightly. Those green eyes dilate in your eyes. Then you saw. Pink stars appeared in Verlia's eyes. For a moment you feel like you can't move your whole body. But so simple. Verlia looks at you proudly. His slender right hand slowly goes down your cheek. Suddenly, Willia touched something very hard. Beautiful women. Don't you think I'm average? Willia's opening was not a bold one. He quickly retreated instinctively. But I just felt something entering my body. Blood flowed out along the dagger. Verlia looked at it with a look of disbelief. The beautiful body fell off the city wall. Valeria. The short-haired fat man looked at Verlia helplessly. Fall off the city wall. Then he immediately turned around and fled with the others. You didn't chase me. Looking at Chengshi's beautiful body, she looks quite beautiful. It's a pity that it's 100 miles away from Yuxuan City. Wes is already thinking about it. How should I make use of your powerful general in the future? But I didn't expect that what was waiting for me was Verlia's death. News Wes angry. Smash the wine glass in your hand. Said to himself. There is an old saying in China, toast without eating. The find was successful. Then I'll let you and the people in the city know. What is the power of gods?